Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope your day is going beautifully. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. Well, today I'm going to take a look at Megan Thee Stallion and Torey Lanez. Someone asked me to give my opinion on this situation after the verdict. So I'm entitling the video, Hard Lessons of Hood Culture. I had to go and look a little deeper into the details of what transpired between those two because I wasn't keeping up with it that closely. But without having to look too hard, you already know that this is another case of hood culture disrupting and ruining the lives of young black people. You have two young people who are popular, wealthy, successful in their careers, and they put what they have in jeopardy, including their lives. Megan, who is a successful rapper, and her best friend, or used to be best friend, Kelsey, were in a sexual triangle with Torey Lanez, who is also a successful rapper. Now this is already a dog mess. You know, this was never going to be anything but a dog mess. You got two friends sleeping with the same man. Just by virtue of how things work out, that man is going to care more about one of those women than he does the other. I don't think this was actually brought out. But if two women are involved with a man, he does not like them both the same. Now, back in the olden days, if it was two women and one man, the women would force the showdown. But in this case, it seems that the man forced the showdown. So this is my read. Kelsey, the one in the middle, had a real crush on him. She wanted him. And they were at a pool party at Kylie Jenner's house on a Sunday afternoon, drinking and partying. And it seems like Kelsey may have been pushing up on him a little bit too much or trying to get too close to him. And there was Megan. He was trying to bring Megan into it, like, you need to tell her that we're in a relationship. Now that's the sign of a man who's trying to put a distance between him and a woman or trying to make a clean break altogether. Now if reports are true, Megan Thee Stallion is a scumbag because it's reported that she was the one that told Kelsey that she should make a move on Torey. Now whether she was sleeping with him before or after she told her friend that, she's not an honest player. And she's not a true friend. And it's sad that this young lady, Kelsey, had to find that out the hard way. So he's sleeping with both of them. Kelsey thinks she's in a relationship with him. They're at a party. She's trying to get cozy with him. And he says, no, actually, I'm in a relationship with Megan. Right, Megan? So Megan did not want to acknowledge that. And I think that's what set it off. So now they get into a big argument. So they have a big argument. They get in an SUV together. They do have a driver. That's the good part. But they are arguing back and forth in the car. One report said they were fighting in the car. At one point, Megan gets out. Then she gets back in. And I'm going to tell you, I have read several reports about this altercation, and every time I have not been able to make any sense out of it. 1 minute they say one thing, the next minute they say something else. One person says that happened, an eyewitness says something else happened. It is the most confusing thing that I have seen. But she got out of the car once or twice. They are continuing to argue. Somebody said they all got into a big brawl at one point. And apparently it was a white man because they're in Beverly Hills or Hollywood Hills or somewhere like that. So there goes the neighborhood. So a white man, I think, was looking from his balcony and he says he saw a little man shooting a gun. At any rate, Megan Thee Stallion ended up getting shot in the foot or the feet. At first they said it was a feet and now they're saying it was the foot. LAPD was called. LAPD caught up with them. And as you see, they've got them all sprawled out in the middle of the road. And Megan is on the far right. You can see some patter of blood prints, it looks like. But she ended up shot. This is what she posted on Instagram. I suffered gunshot wounds as a result of a crime that was committed against me and done with the intention to physically harm me. So she posted on Instagram that she had been shot. And her followers fired back. Why are you going to come out and tell us you got shot and won't give us any details? Won't tell us who shot you? So then later she came back and told who shot her. So Torey was arrested and charged. That became a national story. Now there's no question that Megan was a victim. She was a victim of violence. But the person also who was mistreated was Kelsey. And I don't think that she has gotten any attention. Now, if what they're saying is true, that Megan encouraged her to date a man that she was sleeping with or had slept with, and Kelsey didn't know that, you're setting your friend up not only for embarrassment, but also heartbreak. Now, there is the rumor that Kelsey was the one that actually did the shooting, and that both she and Torey had gunpowder residue on their hands. Now, all of this is speculation because we know what the jury decided. So Kelsey was mistreated in this situation too. When this incident was first reported, I do not believe that Megan had the sympathy of the public that maybe she deserved, because there was also the history, the music that she makes, her behavior, the trash talking that she does, and the twerking and calling women the B word and throwing other vulgarities around, showing that she doesn't have any respect for anybody. That's a turnoff for many people, including many young people. And then there's the no snitching policy that's so prevalent in hood culture. It is alleged that the reason she didn't reveal the shooter at the beginning was because of the hood culture that so many of these rappers and entertainers adhere to, where they have this no snitching policy. So she wouldn't tell who did it. I don't know if she thought that was going to jeopardize her music career, or the people at her record company would have a problem with it. But it is also alleged that Jay-Z encouraged her to go to the authorities and tell who did it. And I believe that that is when she did it, and that is when he was charged with this. Torey Lanez was charged with one felony count of assault with a semi-automatic firearm and one count of carrying a loaded, concealed firearm in a vehicle. He was later charged with the discharging of firearm with gross negligence. So he had two charges against him going in, and then they added another charge. So he, at that point, he was in some serious trouble. Before the trial, Megan went on a sympathy tour. She was lamenting on social media about how all these people had turned on her. Men that she had been sleeping with were coming out and talking about her. And she went on an interview with Gayle King, in which she said that sometimes she wished she had just gone and, I think she said, ended her life, or that she was suicidal. Something like that she was saying. And, you know, she deserved the public. If you've been shot, you deserve all the sympathy you can get. And I think she was surprised at the backlash and at all of the negative responses that were coming. She managed to turn herself into a sympathetic figure for many. So she learned that even in the age of feminism, this is a man's world. You cannot get out there and act like a man and think you're going to be treated like a lady. She's out there using all of that vulgar language that's not even attractive when men do it, and even less so when women do it. So when she was at her most vulnerable and needed the support of the people, male and female, it wasn't forthcoming. And before anybody jumps on me for saying this, it took a man in the form of Jay-Z, if you can believe the reports, it took a man to come to her rescue and give her the support she needed to seek the justice that she deserved. After all that was said and done, I believe that there is a major takeaway from this case that black people should pay attention to. Hood law and this no snitching policy carries no weight in the American judicial system. Torey Lanez, who is not an American citizen but a citizen of Canada, has come to the United States and adopted the worst of the black American culture. He's been defiant ever since this incident happened with her. Before the trial, They told him not to contact her, not to say anything about the case. He's out there rapping about the case and talking about the case. He was taken into custody for violating the protective order that told him not to contact her and not to be talking about or rapping about the case, which is what he was doing. So he clearly doesn't know what the incarceration rate in the United States is for black men. And so he will learn in jail that it's not wise to listen to these homies. Some of these homies, I think, had him thinking that he could shoot somebody and say he didn't do it and get away with it. But that's not what the law says. So they went to court, and to make a long story short, because it's already been decided, he was found guilty on all 3 charges, which means that he could be sentenced to as much as 22 years in prison. The tragedy of this, outside of him actually shooting her, is that these 2 people should be exercising self-control and self-discipline at a time in their lives where they can take this career that they have and it can blossom into something much bigger, and they can build lifetime sustaining careers. I mean, the OJs are still touring. I think they're now having their final tour, and those people up in their 70s and maybe 80s. So you can build a sustaining career for yourself, but you have to keep your nose clean. You have to use self-discipline. You have to use self-control and common sense. And that is not what these 2 used in this situation. The takeaway for Megan is that she needs to understand what friendship is all about and decide whether or not she really wants to be friends with somebody, another woman. And then she needs to be selective about the men she decides to share her life with. Because as she saw, everybody cannot be trusted. And people that she thought, I guess, she had discreet relationships with had come out and exposed her and tried to do it in as damaging and embarrassing a way as they could. So any woman would be disappointed in that. And that is why you have to guard yourself, your privacy, and you have to guard your heart and your mind. And somebody suggested that she needs to get one of those non-disclosure statements when she deals with people. And that's not a bad idea. But you also have to be careful about what you're doing and how you're treating people. You have a responsibility in that too, not just the other people. She made the mistakes of a young woman who is successful and who maybe thought the rules didn't apply to her. But it came back to bite her. And even when they went to trial and all of these men, the names of all of these men came up that she had slept with, and she said it was embarrassing. She realized at that point that that's not a smart thing to do, because by then she's involved with a man that she really likes. And he was embarrassed by the information that was coming out about her in court. And the takeaway for Torey Lanez is that you looked a gift horse in the mouth, which was your rap career, which brought you fame and money and recognition and access, and you threw it away. You threw it away by being impulsive, by letting testosterone get the best of you, and having probably something of a Napoleon complex, where you have to compensate for being short. He's 5'2" or 5 feet 3 inches tall. So he had that going against him. And then he decided that he could defy the laws of the United States. A court orders you not to do something, and you go out there with the hood mindset and do it anyway. And then you end up having to pay for it in a court of law, because hood law carries no weight in a court of law in the United States of America. He had to learn that the hard way. And then after he was found guilty, his father went outside on the courthouse steps and clowned, talking about the American judicial system, and then turned around and blamed Jay-Z because his son had been found guilty of something that he had done. And I guess Jay-Z came into the mix because it was reported that Jay-Z told Megan to tell the authorities who shot her. Hood culture is a dog mess, but it does come to a head at some point, and that is what young black people need to understand. Hood culture and hood law ends up in a court of law in the United States of America. And when the jury speaks, it has spoken. There is nothing that anybody in the hood can do once the jury in any courtroom in the United States of America has spoken. There are untold numbers of black men who have paid the ultimate price in this country for things that they did not do. And we grieve for those people and say Black Lives Matter. But this type of ridiculous indulgence that happened in this case is like spitting on the graves of those people, and it's just disgraceful. Okay, everybody, let me know what you think about this video. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.